I am feeling good today. You know why? Today is day 30 of my promise kept 30-day weed quit. I made it. I knew I could. I knew I would. I also had to keep this promise to myself. I wanted to be a man of my word to myself and move the needle. Before I started making this video, I watched day one and I could tell in my face that I was feeling hurt, insecure, not confident. In fact, I even looked like I was carrying a couple extra pounds in my face. It's amazing what 30 days of focus can accomplish. And I am feeling proud of myself. I feel good. I am happy that I did this. Now, I started out in part because I wanted to win the girl back. But what I wound up doing was winning myself forward. Now, I didn't get the girl back, but I won myself forward. And that means everything to me. So here I am, promise kept, more confident. And I just want to go over the 4 pillars of health that helped me get there. Number 1 is the physical. Man, I was physically relentless. I was working that vigorous and rigorous workouts. In fact, there's at least 2 or 3 videos in these 30 days that demonstrate what I was doing. Number 2, the emotional. Now, the emotional starts with oneself, one's relationship with oneself. And when we started, I was struggling with my relationship with myself. You know, weed, smoking was starting to creep back into my life. I'd stop, and then I would start again, and then I would give myself a talking to, or I would tell my girlfriend at the time that I felt like I needed to quit, and you know, she'd be as encouraging as she could be, but it really wasn't her thing. And then I would be good for a day or two, and then I would start smoking again. And it was creeping in, and then we broke up, and I was kind of wishy-washy with some of my decision-makings and my hesitations and my reflections, and I wasn't clean, and I didn't know what I didn't know. When you're in those days with yourself, your confidence dips. And so I needed to do something to build back my confidence. So the emotional is the second pillar of health. And by making this promise to myself, and I think that's where you start, and that's kind of the point. Make a promise to yourself and keep that promise and become a man of your word to yourself, or a person of your word to yourself. Number 3 pillar of health is the mental. Put down your phone. There is no information except for doing. Doing is the only information. No need to scroll. There's nothing on social media that you need to see. There's no YouTube videos that you need to watch, not even this one. But mental, put your brain to work. Write in a journal. Read a book. Now, you know I love the Bible, and I've been just submerged in it. I'm actually enrolled in a year-long Bible reading. Got to read the entire Bible again. This is a little bit of a different format, and I gotta say the characters are just jumping out at me this time. I am learning so much about the characters in the Bible because the Bible is the story of humanity, and I am seeing myself in all of these characters, and now I understand to a greater degree God's positioning in that, and I can see where he is shaping me and forming me. And that, along with Jesus in my heart, is just pushing me through the fire and preparing me for something, I don't know what. I'm ears and eyes wide open. Mental is learn to do something. And I'd say reading and writing is a great place to start. I think that will lead you to where you want to go. But things like making these videos. Now I had to learn this app called CapCut so I could learn how to do this. There's so many things to learn, hobbies, you name it. And number 4 is the spiritual. Now, spiritual can be capital G, God. I think I've said plenty about that. You know where I stand with God. It's also the lowercase g, and that is gratitude and having an attitude of gratitude. I think if you take a look at, maybe it's day 27, I'm not sure which day it was, but I went and took an inventory of all the things that I was grateful for. And man, in these last 30 days, I have achieved so much, and I am so grateful for so many things. And it was that video that really turned things around for me in this 30-day process, not just with the not smoking weed part. That became easier and easier as we went. In fact, I didn't ever really struggle with that, say, as much as I did the first time I went through my 90 or 120 day quit. I think I declared it to be 90. I wound up going 120 days with it. So small case G is very important. Find your gratitudes. Look for them. Write them down. And when I did that video, I really began feeling better, because once you name it, you then see it. Your brain can't help but see it. Once you name that gratitude, you'll walk through your days and you'll just recognize it. And that just feels good. All right. Now, one thing that I wanted to share with you, this is some housekeeping things about how we're going to move forward here. First things first, this is no longer the Quit Weed Journal YouTube channel. Now, that was cool for a minute, but I'm going with Eric L. Walker, my name, because I'm going to continue making videos, and that's what I wanted to let you know. Now, I don't really know how many, but I promise you this. I will make at least one per month. I bet you I will end up making more, but I am making that promise to you. I'm also making that promise to me. I am going to make one video at least per month, and I want to just keep up with this, trying to get the communication right. Because that's one thing I've noticed about myself. I've really noticed it in the last 30 days of trying to make these videos every day. And that is that I want to be a remarkable communicator. Whether that be written or audio or videos like these, I want to be a remarkable communicator, and I think it's a calling in me. So I'm going to continue to practice it. I'm going to continue to refine and polish and learn more. Pillar number 2, that's the mental. Okay. So, what about how much or how little, if at all, am I going to smoke weed? Well, I'll tell you what, some of you may not condone this, but I am going to continue smoking weed. I am going to smoke weed 5 times over the course of the next year. Now, I told you I made one small promise to myself, not smoking for 30 days, and that leads to bigger promises. That leads to bigger commitments. And I am going to commit to smoking just 5 times in the next year. So I'm going to smoke 1 time per quarter. So for example, quarter number 4, we're approaching. I think we're going to say that's September through January. And I am going to smoke sometime around Thanksgiving. And then if you go from quarter number 1, January through March, I have a birthday in late March. I am going to smoke sometime in late March around my birthday. And then quarter number 2, it'll be sometime around Memorial Day. Quarter number 3, it'll be sometime around the 4th of July. Now that's 4 times. 4 times in a year. Now I'm also going to give myself 1 impromptu mulligan smoke. Now whenever it happens to happen, it's just going to happen. It could be I'm out playing pool with the guys and we're drinking some beers and we're catching up. I usually do this with my guy friends around Christmas time. And maybe we'll step out into the back alley and take a couple one-hitters. I'm going to be open to that, but I only get to do that 1 time. Now, some of you may not condone that and say, hey, you're playing with fire. Literally, you are playing with fire. I'm going to always make a video the day after I smoke. But I'm also, with the 4 times I'm going to smoke, I'm going to put it down on the calendar. It's going to be an event. Now, I'm not going to make a false idol out of it and treat it as a holiday. But I am going to make sure that the pathway is clear, that I don't have my kids, that I don't have any responsibilities going on, that maybe I got a full day and I'm just going to walk the beach, walk the pier, take a walk in the woods. Maybe I'm just going to be around the house and I'm going to watch the Godfather series of movies. I don't know, but it's going to belong to me. I could be writing at the kitchen table. I know that if I smoke 3 or 4 times in a year, that it actually does stoke my creativity. And I think that it has its place in my life like that. The key is to maintain the promise. The key is to stay disciplined with the commitment. Now, here's the specific rules to this. Let's just say it's March 25th and it's quarter number 2 smoke. Okay, so there we go. I get no more than 1 gram and I get 24 hours. Okay, so if I begin that time period at noon On March 24th, I have until noon. On March 25th, whatever is left goes in the garbage. It is over. See you later. Done until the next event in the next quarter. So that is my bigger promise. Again, I want to reiterate that a small promise kept builds self-confidence, that it builds and opens to bigger promises and bigger commitments. And with regard to weed, this is what I'm going for. Now, I cannot remember in my adult life ever smoking that little of an amount. Even when I did my 120-day quit, we had a greenhouse season, because the greenhouse season is when I usually have difficulties because it's really physically challenging. And at the end of those physically challenging days, it's pretty chaotic too. I manage about $1 million worth of flowers going out of our 4-acre greenhouse in the span of about 5 weeks. So I am the point man. It gets a little stressful, it gets a little chaotic. And when I win the day, which I always do, I like to sometimes unwind with a little number, as Mr. Russell from the UK would say. I love that. Okay, so there you have it, folks. This is day 30. I kept my promise. You know what I'm gonna do moving forward with weed. You know what I'm gonna do moving forward with this YouTube channel. I'll probably see you in the next 2 weeks to 1 month. Please leave a comment, like this video, subscribe to my channel. Just because when I continue, when I come back and talk to you, I hope to see you again. And as always, if you have any questions, I want you to be able to get a hold of me. So let's just kind of run down the ways that you can get a hold of me. Number one, you can always text me at 269-389-9801. That's 269-389-9801. That's a little bit more personal. You can text me if you're going through a weed quit, by all means. You can also email me, Eric, that's E-R-I-C, at Eric L. Walker. That's Eric at Eric L. Walker. Now, as I told you, I am a writer. I like to try and get the communication right. And so I just pen these little ditties, these little things. They're almost like public journal entries. You can find those public journal entries, those little ditties that I declare precious, at ericlwalker.com. As always, thank you so much, and special thanks to my man, the infamous musician on the East Coast. Brother, I love you. I really appreciate you showing up every day for me, and our dialogue has been super special. Thanks for helping me get through all of this. All right, everyone, keep going and keep growing.